Good morning, coaches. Come on in. Today we have a very juicy topic. Good morning, good morning. Come on in, one and all. Today we are going to be talking about doing a business audit. So I'm calling today's session, Let's Do a Business Audit. And in other words, let's spot the gaps in your coaching business. So that is today's topic. I want to do kind of a group business audit. I want to give all of you guys the chance that if you have a question, if something's not working in your business, if you want to know about a particular part of your business and what levers you can pull to get something working, now is the time for that. I invite you into the chat. So I'm just looking down real quick because I'm going to pull up the Facebook group on my phone here because I have an easier time seeing your comments. And there we go. Alrighty. As you're coming in today, I invite you to post where you're watching from. Post where you're watching from. As you're coming in today, I invite you to post where you're watching from. And also, I'd love to hear what is a challenge? What is a challenge that you have in your coaching business that we can help you with? We have a vault of free trainings, etc. What is a challenge that you are currently dealing with in your coaching business? And based on what you share, either I could come up with a new Facebook Live on that topic, or Heather can point you in the right direction and give you a free resource. So as you're coming in today, drop into the chat where you're watching from, and what would you like to learn next? Let's put it that way. What would you like to learn next? For those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Betty Kemp, a business coach for coaches, member of the Forbes Coaches Council. I am an IPEC graduate, ranked one of the top coaches in both Denver and Tampa by Influence Digest. I'm the founder of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy, where we help corporate renegades ditch their 9-to-5 and repackage their genius into a coaching business that replaces their corporate income, period. My goal is, not just to help you guys build a coaching business, but, what goes beyond that, right? It's so you can feel passionate about what you do as a coach. You can enjoy the freedom of entrepreneurship. Now, one caveat is that, the way that we teach things here is we simplify. We teach you how to sell high-ticket programs. Why? So you can sell 1 to 2 packages per month to hit your financial target of replacing your corporate income versus burning out selling lower ticket or digital courses. So my clients that have had, multiple 10K months, 6-figure year, etc. Those are the clients, right, that are following that strategy we teach. The other thing we teach, just a caveat, again, it's good to know when you're learning from somebody what's their style. We teach organic marketing. We teach organic client attraction versus what I call throwing money away on Facebook ads or complicated funnels. You don't need those yet, not until you pass the 6-figure mark. As always, if you'd like additional coaching support with your business, check out, there's a link in the copy of this post for you to apply for a discovery call with us so that we can learn more about your business challenges and goals. We can ask you questions to do a little bit of a deep dive on your business challenges and goals. You will have the opportunity to ask us any questions about the program. And then ultimately, the point of a discovery call, right, is to see if we are potentially a fit for the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. So to apply for a discovery call, there is a link that is attached to this video, but just for kicks and giggles, I'm also going to throw it in the chat. There it is. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Randy. Thanks for joining us, ladies. And Heather, feel free to go ahead and tag individual people on the post this morning. The text that I usually send sharing that we went live this morning there's something going on with the system. So I wasn't able to send out that text. So if Heather, it might be helpful to tag a few people that are specifically, wanting to learn about this specific topic today. Special announcement before we get started today. So quick announcement before we get started today. Limited time only offer. Limited time only. We're testing this. We've never done it before. It's for the month of June only. So typically when we work with clients, right, and we've been doing this for many, many years, clients have two options to work with us. Option one is to join our group coaching program in the Corporate to Six Figure Coach Academy. And option two is to join one-on-one coaching with me, yours truly. But for the month of June only, we wanted to share something new and more than that, customized just for you. So this June, we're expanding our offerings to offering customized business coaching solutions. So what are customized business coaching solutions? These are only available to coaches like you. So here's what I mean by that. We're not opening this up to the general public. I repeat, we are not opening this up to the general public. Only coaches like you so it's either if you've registered for one of our free boot camps or workshops in the past, you would be qualified for this offer. If you're in my Facebook group, you've attended lives like this, you'd be qualified for this offer. This offer is not available to the general public. We want to make sure that we're working with coaches who have already put in the work and are committed to achieving their coaching business goals. Second, when it comes to customized business coaching solutions, what we're doing here is we're putting together, instead of just saying, hey, there's these two things you could potentially join, we're putting together, you're telling us what your struggles are, you're telling us what you want your outcome to be specifically, and we're putting together a customized business coaching solution just for you, based on what you tell us your specific situation is, your coaching business goals and challenges are. So whether that's, for example, a VIP experience with me at a shorter duration, maybe it's a small group workshop. There's many options in terms of ways we could work together. So we're going to put that together just for you, based on what the best option is to help you achieve your specific outcome. Lastly, the goal of the customized business coaching solutions this June is to help you get traction on implementation on your coaching business, right? Whether that's a cash injection, niche and messaging, building your coaching package, launching your business, whatever you need help with, right? A lot of times we know we've got this checklist. Oh yeah, got to do this, got to do that, right? The goal of these solutions is that we actually sit there and work with you to get traction on implementation. So these customized business solutions are only available for the month of June. So it's June 20th. We don't have too much time left. We may or may not ever offer this again. This is kind of a test. So how do you explore what customized business coaching solution might be the right fit for you? The first step is to fill out our form so we can learn what are your business challenges and goals. That's step one. And again, I'm going to throw that in the chat. Well, I already threw it in the chat. It's the last comment I just made. That's step one. And then step two, once you fill out the form, you're going to receive a link to book a call with us. And on that call, we are going to explore what kind of customized business coaching solution options might be right for you. And I think these calls are of course, I'm business and marketing, so I love this stuff, but I think they're fun. Because we're putting together something, it's like we're molding something out of clay based on the specific outcome you want to achieve. So that is the announcement. And again, if this is just something you're curious about, you're like, yeah, I know I want to work with Betty and her team in some capacity. I would say book the call if you're interested in working with us in some capacity, and we can explore all the different ways, all the different options based on the outcome you want to achieve. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to drop it in the chat and we will go through that with you. So here we go. Coaches, when it comes to your coaching business, can you spot the gaps? Can you spot the gaps? When it comes to your coaching business, can you spot the gaps? So here's what I mean by that. Can you spot the gaps? If your business is not set up or not performing the way that you want it to, would you even know why? Would you even know which levers to pull to get it going? The truth is, we don't know what we don't know. And unless you're a business and marketing expert, the best bet is to partner with a business and marketing expert to help you spot the holes so you can take action in the right place, in the right order to actually get an ROI, right? So today, we're going to focus on today's topic. Let's do a business audit, spot the gaps in your coaching business. In this training, we're going to cover a couple things. One, we're going to give you a complete rundown of where there could potentially be a gap in your coaching business that you need to turn a lever. Sometimes it's just a lever you need to turn in order to get an ROI. Two, we're going to talk about how each lever you could pull will cause what type of specific effect in your coaching business, right? Three, you're going to be able to drop your business challenges in the chat for me to do an in-the-moment hot seat to help you spot the gap in your business. Now, by the way, I usually go live on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today is Thursday, so this week just isn't of the norm. So if you're watching this in the replay, you too can, get that kind of, hey, Betty, I have a question. Hey, Betty, I need help with this. Whatever it is that you are challenged with and you want me to help you spot the gap, drop it into the comments. Drop it into the comments section, tag me or tag Heather Copey, and tell us what is the business challenge that you're struggling with. Drop that into the chat, okay? Lastly, you will receive a business audit checklist for you to keep on hand. So how do you receive that business audit checklist? Once I pass it to Heather, Heather will pass it to you. But in order for her to know who to pass it to, whether you're here live or watching the replay, you need to connect to Heather Copey. There she is in the chat. Wave, Heather. Put your little hand up in the chat. You need to send Heather a Facebook DM. And just, you can put in that DM, business audit checklist. That's all you have to say. So DM Heather Copey, business audit checklist. And as soon as I pass it to her, she will pass it to you. Okay? Now, as I'm going through this, if you have any questions, I am happy to hot seat coach and answer your questions live. All right? So let's get going here. Let's start with the complete rundown of where there could potentially be a gap in your coaching business, where you need to turn a lever in order to get some kind of an ROI. Let's start there. And I'm just, again, checking my mobile device to make sure I can see comments so that I can answer them as we go along. So let me just pull that up here and check here. Okay, give me 1 second here as I just hook up with the Facebook group. As I'm doing that, drop your challenges into the tab. Drop your challenges into the chat. One message here. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about it. Let's do an audit. First is niche messaging and positioning. So I hope you have notes out and ready. First is niche messaging and positioning. So it's not enough to say, yeah, I chose my niche. There's more to it than that. There's more to it than that. There's more to it than I chose my niche. So let's talk about it. There's more to it than that. Hey, Linda Granger, thanks for joining us today. Linda, if there's anything, the question we're asking people as they're coming on today is, what do you want to learn next? That's what we're asking people as they join today. What do you want to learn next? Okay, niche messaging and positioning, let's talk about it. If you have a question about this, even if you're watching the replay, live or the replay, I want you to drop your questions into the chat. So niche messaging and positioning, the first potential gap in your coaching business, a lot of times people think, I don't know, they'll say, I'm not getting enough sales. I need to do a new form of marketing. And a lot of times it comes down to the foundational element that there's something off with your niche, with your messaging, with your positioning, right? It's bigger than that. So that is first and foremost. Now, a niche, remember, is something that targets a distinct segment of the market. It's your specialty. It's your I help who with what, so that coaching statement. Your niche encompasses a certain demographic and a specific goal you are helping people to achieve. Now, most coaches with their niche are going way, way, way too broad. So when I do an audit, I first look at your niche, your I help who with what, so that statement. And it's very rare that I see people going narrow enough. Most coaches go way too broad. So this is your first audit, okay? How niche is your niche statement? Most coaches want to be everything to everyone. They're afraid to niche down because they're afraid of losing potential clients. But it's actually the opposite that occurs. If you stay broad in your coaching practice, you're going to appear as a generalist. And the fact is, people want to hire a specialist in order to solve their very specific problem. Specialists command a higher price point. MarketResearch.com states that while general coaches make around $73,000 annually, specialty or niche down coaches will surpass the six-figure mark. Okay, so the riches and the niches are no joke. So this is audit spot check number 1. Have you niched down enough? Okay. Lots of coaches struggle with how to niche down, or they think they've niched down. But in fact, they still need to narrow it down by 1 or 2 more levels in order for them to be niched enough. Here's something I see. Something else that I see out there. Someone will come to me and say, hey, Betty, I chose my niche. I'm a career coach. Woohoo! But they don't know how to message. The problem sometimes is the messaging, right? Maybe you say, yeah, I'm a leadership coach. I'm a relationship coach. Great. I know my niche. How's your messaging? If I go to your website, if I go to your LinkedIn profile, am I going to understand who you help, what the problem is you help them with, what is the outcome you help them achieve, right? Your messaging, that's where most coaches struggle. They don't know how to message effectively to their market. So what happens is that they aren't attracting clients. That's what happened when your messaging is off. What happens? What's the effect of that? You're not attracting clients because your potential clients are not clear on who do you help, what do you do, and what specific problem do you solve. I promise you, most of you, when it comes to what's preventing you from 10K months, it starts with a niche and a messaging problem. Clarity is king. Clarity is king. So if your messaging is not on point, you're going to have a tough time. Okay? This is what I do a lot of work with coaches on the messaging. When it comes to choosing your niche and nailing your messaging, you need to validate the market. You need to research. It can't just be from your brain. You have to get out there and do things. You've got to research the pains, the problems, and the dreams and the goals of your ideal client avatar so that your messaging, when I say messaging, I'm talking about your copy, your I help who with what statement. It's got to be in their words and not your words. That's the first major mistake that coaches make that prevent them from having 10K months. The niche is too broad. The messaging is unclear. It's fuzzy. They haven't validated the market. So I hope you're writing this down. This is all part of the audit. Check, check, check. Reminder, if you want the audit checklist, DM Heather Copey. Just DM and say audit checklist. Reach out, send her a DM and say audit checklist. As soon as we get done with the Facebook Live, I'm going to pull that together. As soon as I send it to Heather, Heather will then send it to you. But you have to DM her. Sometimes people will choose a niche, like I said, but the messaging, it's not landing. It's not landing with your ideal client avatar. The last part about this, we talked about niche and messaging, is like your the first part of your audit, but also it's niche messaging and positioning. What do I mean by positioning? I mean, in the beginning, when we're doing our research, and I do this with my clients, we do research on your competitors, I created something called a competition matrix. And what we do is we identify, based on the other competitors in the market, what is your secret sauce, right? You need to be able to identify and explain why your ideal client avatar should choose you amongst other competitors. Okay? So audit, checklist number 1, niche, messaging, positioning. You have to have those 3 nailed. Okay? Part 2 of the audit checklist has to do with having a strong, value-filled coaching package. A strong, value-filled coaching package. Another thing that potentially prevents coaches from hitting 10K plus months, right? They don't have a strong coaching package, okay? So here's a couple mistakes I see when it comes to coaching package. When I'm doing an audit, okay? So if I was doing an audit, for example, with Linda Granger, right? I would say, let me see your offers. Let me see what you're currently offering to people. So here's a couple different things I want y'all to think about when it comes to a business audit. Number 1, do you have way too many offers? You could choose this, you could choose this, you could choose this, you could choose this. The key is to simplify. When a client comes to you, they just want you to solve their pain, right? They don't know if they need 6 sessions, 12 sessions, 20 sessions. They don't know to be able to do that, to solve their pain. You, as the coach, needs to determine how many sessions it takes to get clients from pain to dream. That's your job. So you can inform your client how long this process will take. So that's the first thing. We need to simplify your offerings, right? If you confuse them, you lose them. If you confuse them, you lose them. And when I say them, I'm talking about your client, your prospective clients. Second, when it comes to coaching packages, you guys aren't going to be shocked to hear this. Coaches are undercharging for their services, and it's killing you guys. It's killing you guys. Part of this is a mindset issue, right? Part of this is a mindset issue, and we work with this with our clients. We have a money mindset coach who actually gets in the brain and works on that mindset piece when it comes to money. So I know that part of it's a mindset issue. By the way, drop in the chat if you want a training on money mindset. If you want a training, if you're watching the replay or if you're watching the live, you want a training on money mindset, drop that in the chat. Part of this, the undercharging, is that coaches really need to beef up the value of their offering so they can increase the price right along with it. Okay? My goal is for you guys to be able to sell 1 high ticket package per month to hit your monthly target, or to be able to sell 2 of your downsell packages per month to hit your monthly target. But in order to do that, the value of your coaching package needs to be about double the price tag. Needs to be about double the price tag. So that's what I help coach. I know that's hard to kind of just pull out of thin air. Cool, Lee. We'll get you something on that. Heather will get you something on that. So the value of your package needs to be about double the price tag. Okay? That's what I help coaches do, is to create a high ticket coaching package that is valued at double the price tag. Why? Well, 1, it then becomes a no-brainer for your prospective client. 2, it's going to beef your confidence up. You're going to look at your package and you'll be like, dang, that is an awesome package. Look at the value of what I'm offering. Okay? So we got to ask ourselves when we're doing this audit, right? Have you simplified your offer? Are you charging enough for your services? Is your mind in the right place? Money mindset, so that you're not, who am I to charge that? Which, of course, is very normal. Very, very normal. That's why we have a money mindset coach as a part of our program. And 3, when I look at somebody's package, I always ask, let me see the breakdown of what's included so I can understand the value of what's being offered. Most people don't have that breakdown. So what we need to do when I'm doing an audit and I'm looking at your package, on a call with someone who's like, yeah, I'm interested in your services, you don't want to just tell them, oh yeah, it's X amount of dollars for my package. Before that, you need to break down to them, this is the value. You hear all the deliverables. Here's the value of what I offer. And the value is about double the price ticket. So then people are like, oh, okay, it's an investment, but I see the value. Okay. So lastly, when it comes to your coaching package, you need to create a coaching framework. Okay, so this could be known as a framework. It could be known as a signature methodology, right? These are specific steps that it takes to get your clients from pain to dream. You need to show your prospective clients you've got a plan, that you've got them. This also will set you apart from your competitors. Okay, if you go to my website after this training, bettykempit.com, and you go to my services page and scroll down a little bit, well, I'll just put it in the chat so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is an example. So here's my services page in the chat. This is an example of what I'm talking about. If you go to that page after this training and you scroll all the way down, you scroll down to where it says the 5 C's of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. That's my signature methodology. 5 steps I walk my clients through to get them from pain to dream. Okay? That's my coaching signature methodology. You need one too. So no matter your niche, you need 2 things. A unique signature method, 3 to 5 steps or pillars to get your clients from pain to dream, right? And that's an exercise that I work through with my clients to pull that out of their brain, okay? So you need a signature method, that's part of the audit, and you need deliverables. What deliverables are part of your coaching package? And we need to map out for each deliverable, the value of each deliverable. Value, 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 value. What's it valued at? And then the total value of the coaching package. And then that should be about double the price. Makes it a no-brainer for the client. Okay, so that is part 2 of this audit, right? Is I would say, if for example, if I'm working with Lee, I would say, Lee, let me see your coaching package. What you got going on? Right? And I would look for these things to see if there's a gap. Okay. Part 3 of the audit is going to be launching your brand, right? Actually, the actual launch of your brand. So, a couple things here when it comes to the actual launch, pulling the curtains back. My website's live. I'm launching my brand. A couple things about this section of the audit. Okay. Launching your business. Often I see coaches who spend all this time or money on creating a beautiful website, and then that website just sits there. Crickets. There was no launch. There was no excitement created around the website. I used to work in corporate communications in the retail industry back in my corporate days before I became a coach. And I remember when we opened a new store, because I was working corporate communications and retail, when we opened a new retail store, right, there was a grand opening launch. We sent out postcards, special coupons to get people interested, giveaways, balloons. You need to think of launching your coaching business like it's a store's grand opening. Now, an effective grand opening strategy is going to include writing compelling website copy to engage your audience. So that's a piece of the audit, right? When I go to your website, usually I have a lot to say when I go to someone's website. Do you have compelling website copy to engage your audience? Okay. I see the same website mistakes again and again that are hurting coaches' businesses. Right? So for example, the copy on the homepage is not hitting on the client's pain and dreams, right? You've got to allow the client to be nodding their head up and down when they look at your website, like, this person gets me. When they're talking about the specific pain I'm in, they get me, right? That homepage should be more about them, less about you. All right. Sometimes what I see in the website is the layout is not conducive to converting a prospect to a client. Sometimes the website's not branded correctly. Sometimes the website is missing a lead magnet, which is also part of the audit when it comes to launching your business. Do you have a lead magnet? What's a lead magnet? What's a lead magnet? It's something juicy you give to people in order to get their email address, right? It could be a guide, it could be a checklist, it could be a video. You give it in exchange for an email address to build your email list. So part of that audit, let me see your lead magnet. And by the way, the title of that lead magnet, it better be good, because you could work for weeks on your lead magnet. It could be the best lead magnet ever. If the title is generic or doesn't, have the right copy messaging, no one's going to click on it. No one's going to give you their email address. Very important piece of the audit, lead magnet. Just as important as what's on your website is what happens after the prospect leaves your website. So for example, once a prospect downloads your lead magnet, then what happens? So again, write this down. This is part of the audit. Do you have an email nurture sequence, an automated email nurture sequence that helps your ideal client to know, like, and trust you once somebody joins your email list? Okay. I read a statistic, salescycle.com says 59% of customers say marketing emails do influence their purchase decisions. That's a big number. It is critical that you get your email nurture sequence right. Okay. I had a client, Vanessa, who I worked with, and she had our biggest focus when she started working with me was her brand launch, right? So we got all the tools together. We got her website, made sure that the copy, the design was, ready to convert. She had a great lead magnet. She had an automated email nurture sequence. And then we built out an incredible business launch communication strategy to get people just as excited about the launch as she was. You don't want to just post on Facebook, hey, my website's live, and then you get 60 likes and your fellow coaches and relatives are like, good job, right? That's not a launch. We gotta create a business launch. So there's a communication plan pre-launch that gets people excited. There's the day of the launch, the curtains unveil, and then there's post-launch communication to keep their attention, to keep them taking action to come closer to you. So again, I had a case study here, client Vanessa. I worked with her. We did all the elements of her brand launch. She was 17 years in the corporate world. So for those of you scared to leave that corporate job, she was 17 years in the corporate world. She was a corporate vice president of strategy and partnerships. And once we did her brand launch, she booked her first client shortly after the rollout. And she was able to scale to 6 figures within her first year in business. So again, I want to be clear. There's no magic bullet, but this was a client who followed this audit and took my coach, as I call myself, a coach consultant, recommendations, and she implemented. Okay. So ineffective brand launch, that is part of the audit, part 3, right? Your business launch. Do you have all the tools in place, all the systems in place? You can collect payment, right? You can schedule people. Is your website incredible, right? This is part of why I'm now including in my program a website that I customized with a web designer, and we designed it to convert, because I couldn't stand seeing any more websites that weren't designed to either convert to emails, build your email list, or convert to calls, right? So we just included it as a part of our package. So do you have an effective brand launch? What's your brand launch strategy? And if you've already launched, we might need to relaunch you, which I've done many a times. Point here in this audit is do not launch to crickets. Okay. As we're going through here, feel free to drop into the comments if you have a question. What's up, Angela? Superstar Angela, former corporate to Coach Academy member. Big hugs, Angela. Miss you. Thanks for joining us. All right, part of the audit, part four, is the client attraction system. And I do mean system. System, right? We are not waking up on a Thursday and throwing spaghetti at the wall. Oh, what should I do to attract a client today? That is pre-planned. It's part of a system. Okay, if you're not having predictable 10K months, consecutive 10K plus months, you are probably lacking a system to attract clients on autopilot. And here's the deal. I'll be completely real with you here. The truth is that there's a million ways to attract clients, right? That's part of the struggle, isn't it? As coaches, we have a million different voices telling us that their way is the right way. No, you got to do it this way to get clients. Nah, you got to do it this way to get clients. So what happens, right? Before we know it, we're suffering from shiny object syndrome. We're bouncing from one client attraction method to another with fingers crossed that one of those things will work, okay? So here's what I'm going to say. While a lot of strategies out there could work, they could very well work, the problem is that coaches are lacking a system to effectively implement these strategies. And as a coach and a business owner, you don't want to wake up on a Thursday with a to-do list. Who's got a to-do list a mile long that they have to get done today or tomorrow? Right? A to-do list of things that you're hoping will attract clients. We don't want to wake up with a to-do list a mile long wondering, gee, what do I need to focus on today to get a client? Right? So six-figure coaches have a system that's on autopilot to attract new clients. So part of the audit, right? If I was working with Lee or working with Linda or working with Angela doing an audit, right, is to peek in and look at what exactly is your client attraction system and where are you seeing ROI and where are you not seeing ROI and where are there potential gaps in that system, right? So your client attraction system should include various elements such as customized outreach, and we call this social selling. If you do not know what social selling is, you need to learn. You need to book a discovery call with us and talk about a potential customized business solution to learn how to social sell. If you don't know how to social sell, your business is going to hurt in 2024. Okay? So you need to know how to social sell. It's a form of outreach. It's a form of outreach that's effective. So consistent, effective outreach via social selling. So that's part of the audit. How are you outreaching to potential clients online? How many people are you connecting to per day? Did you guys know there are certain metrics you should be hitting as far as how many people to connect to per day? And as far as your outreach, there's different elements of outreach that are metrics you should be tracking. And if you're not hitting those milestones, we need to shift something. Most people are kind of just blindly sending friend requests and just kind of blindly talking to people. That's not a system. We need to be tracking that, and you need to know what metrics you should be hitting with that. Okay? Another element of the client attraction system is free weekly training content. So just like you see me here, I'm not charging you guys. I woke up and decided to serve today, doing a free Facebook Live, right? So weekly training content, at least once a week. Your ideal client avatar should know to expect some kind of free training content from you which is meant to position you as an authority in the marketplace. Now, that you don't have to be live on video. If you're like, oh, I don't want to go on video, that's fine. You could be a podcaster, you could blog, but something where you wake up as a coach and you're like, how can I serve at scale, right? Once a week to position yourself as an expert authority. Part of the client attraction system should also be repurposing your content. Repurposing your content. A lot of people think about posting on social media. They make it so much harder than it needs to be, right? So when I work with clients, when I do an audit, a business audit, I want to see your content marketing calendar. Are you just trying to pick like, how do I post today? Or do you have a content marketing calendar, right? When I work with my clients, I have a content marketing template calendar that I give to them. And then I have scripts and templates that we use to create the actual copy. So again, that's an important piece of the audit is what you're posting and how far ahead are you planning those posts. Okay, you can make life a lot easier for yourself by creating a content marketing calendar, by batching your content creation and repurposing your content. A lot of people feel stressed out with social media posting because they're making it harder than it has to be. There's a way to simplify it. It is important you get your social media content dialed in. I read a study by Brain Fog that says 82% of buyers believe a company is more trustworthy, know, like, and trust, if it is active in social media. Okay, that's a big number again. But you have to be active on social media in an effective and compelling way that speaks to your ideal client avatar. Sometimes people will say, well, Betty, I'm posting all the time. I don't get anybody booking calls. I look at their posts and they're not the right types of posts. You got to learn which types of posts are effective. If you want training, free training on effective social media posts where you get high engagement, drop into the chat, social media training. Drop into the chat, even if you're watching the replay, social media training, because we have that free training as well. One last word to the wise here. An effective client attraction system does not mean spreading yourself thin across every social media channel. You don't have to do that. Hone in on one social media platform where your ideal client avatar hangs out and dominate it. Show up consistently. My former client, Krista, she was formerly a corporate director of global talent and development, and she turned leadership coach. She was one of my clients that really leaned in to social media and did a great job, right? She killed it on social media, and she was able to sell a coaching package early on for $14,000 to a client who found her on LinkedIn. Didn't even go to her website. It was just like, wow, she's a thought leader on LinkedIn. She's consistently there adding value. Important. The last part of the audit, part five, write this down. And if you want a copy of the business audit checklist, DM Heather Copey, business audit checklist. Part 5 of the audit is your discovery call process. Or your sales, you could write down your sales process. Your sales process. I want to know what your sales process looks like, because it's not a one and done. It's not like you talk to someone and say, want to sign up? Oh, yeah, great. There are steps to this. There are steps to the sales process. Okay, I'm talking about coaches. You guys need to be getting on Zoom. So when you're having a sales call, a consult, you need to be getting on Zoom with people who you have pre-qualified. So when I'm doing an audit with you, I want to see your sales process. I want to know how do people find you? How do people get on a call with you? What do they have to do to get on a Zoom call with you? Right? You need to be pre-qualifying people. You shouldn't be doing a 45-minute consult with any person out there. You have to pre-qualify. So that means ahead of time, you've established your prospect's needs, timing, and motivation. You should only be running discovery calls with pre-qualified potential clients. Okay, so that's part of the audit. I want to see who you're running calls with. P.S. Did you know there are sales metrics you should be hitting as well? Right? There are sales metrics. You need to know your benchmarks, your metrics. So you know if you're closing, I'm making this up, 3 out of 10 calls, you need to know, is that normal? Is that below the benchmark? Like, is that good? Is that bad? You need to learn the benchmarks. Okay? I see some coaches get on discovery calls. Also, another thing I see with an audit, they just get on the consult. They get on the consult before they have warmed up their ideal client avatar sufficiently. What do I mean by that? There is a way that you, as a coach, can make sure that ahead of time, every person you hop on a Zoom with knows exactly who you are and what you offer, right? When you get on a consult to talk to somebody about whether or not they want to work with you, they should already be familiar with your work, and there's already an element of the know, like, and trust factor. You should not be hopping on to a 45-minute consult with people cold, who have no idea who you are. They're like, who are you? What do you offer again? You need to be, when I say warming people up, what I mean is educating people ahead of time. Who you are, what you offer, why you're credible, etc. And here's something I want you to write down and take away before we end the call here. If you're doing all the heavy lifting on the discovery call, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. If you're doing all the heavy lifting on the discovery call, you're doing it wrong. Okay, what I mean by that is you got to do the pre-qualification, the education. There are many steps to take before the actual consult, so that by the time you get that person on Zoom, they're totally educated on what you offer. You should not be using the bulk of your consult to explain who you are, to be pitching, to be talking about your offer. They should know that before the call, right? So this is what I teach in the academy to my clients. Once you're on the call, your consult, when I say call, I mean, your consult, usually it's on Zoom. Do you have a powerful script? Now, not to say you need a script to kind of be a robot through the script, but you need some kind of a outline, right? For what that a powerful consult call looks like. So do you have a powerful script, or are you just kind of stumbling through the conversation? A clue to this is if you dread consult calls. If you have a sales call coming up, you see one go on your calendar and automatically you dread it, you probably don't have a powerful script that's going to be giving you confidence. It is so important that you have this entire sales process dialed in. Okay? So, as we close out today, a couple things to remember. 1, DM Heather Copey and just say business audit checklist. And once I pass it to her, she will pass it back to you. 2, do not forget, we have a customized business coaching solutions that we're offering for the rest of June. Okay? And again, I talked about that in the beginning of this call. It's where we customize a business solution, coaching solution for you based on the outcome you're trying to achieve. So I'm making this up. Let's say you come to us and you're like, Betty, I don't know how to social sell. Like, that's the thing I really need to learn, right? We'll give you some options that are customized just for that outcome you want to achieve. Or maybe you want to achieve a cash injection. Betty, for the month of July, I really want to make this much money, right? So again, customized business coaching solutions. If you are interested in exploring what options we have to work with us, in the chat, just dropped it in there again. There is a link. You need to, step 1, fill out the form. Once you fill out the form, you'll receive a link to book a call with us to explore what kind of customized coaching business solution options might be right for you. All right, guys, so there it is. Let's do a business audit. I hope you took copious notes. DM Heather Copey for the checklist. Drop a comment below, whether you're watching live or the replay. What is your biggest takeaway from today's lesson? We talked about the 5 key parts of a business audit. When you're first starting out with your coaching business, what are you going to work on first? What's the first thing you're going to work on? All right. As always, if you'd like additional coaching support, book a discovery call with us so we can learn more about your business challenges and goals. You can ask us questions and we can see if you're a fit for the Corporate to 6-Figure Coach Academy. Thank you for joining me today. Next week, we'll go back to our regularly scheduled Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk to y'all soon.